Welcome to Business Chats with Debbie, where we talk to small businesses about their stories. I'm your host, Debbie Warburton, and today I've got the lovely Steve Bridson back in for his second podcast.
Absolutely.
It must be near enough 12 months since we had a chat again, is it? 10
Probably
months?
Probably not far off, actually.
Not far off
Probably not far off, yeah.
So we're in to talk about your new project, which has been going. Is this the second or third lot?
I've got the second lot running at the moment. I've got the third lot I'm planning at the minute, third group I'm planning at the moment.
Which is called Peer Power.
That's right.
I remembered.
Well done. Yeah, well done. Yeah, Peer Power. That's right, yeah.
So, John, it's all about helping people, really, isn't it?
Yeah.
And getting groups together, because we all know, we all run our own businesses, how lonely that can be, running your own business when you've got all these ideas bouncing around in your head, no one to bounce them off, no one to say, well, just tweak it a little bit or just do this instead. There's nobody to do that, whereas Peer Power gives you that platform to do it.
Absolutely. So the whole concept behind it came out of doing lots of networking, lots of people saying, I'd love to work with you, but can't afford to work with you on a one-to-one basis or whatever. So I sat there and I was thinking about it in the summer, and I was thinking, how can I help these people? That's kind of my demeanor. My whole purpose of doing what I do is to help and support people. And I've been involved in a group that I've been working with for probably about 8 or 9 months now. And that's helped me tremendously. And it's been working with other people who are professionals in their own area, so coaches mainly. And we get together on a weekly basis, and it's just an hour, and we spend an hour on Zoom together, and we talk around stuff, and it's facilitated by a coach. Anyway, and it's how can I translate that into what I've been doing? Yeah. So I went away and I spoke to a number of people, and I put the concept to them that if we could get a group of people together in the room, what would they think about? You've got that peer-to-peer support. So you've got other people who are experiencing exactly the same things that they're experiencing, just dressed up in a different business, basically. Yeah. So they experience the same sort of issues. One is, like you say, loneliness, which is a huge thing for business owners. And in this world of mental health that we're currently experiencing, it's a massive, massive issue. So the loneliness is being one thing. You get to a point when you're running a business, and I'm sure Darren has sort of like covered his ears, and I'm sure the girls have covered their ears when you've been going on about your business. I know my wife has also covered her ears and she looks blank at me sometimes, and then I realise that I'm going on a lot. And that's part of the issue is you don't have that opportunity to talk to people who are involved in business. So the whole point about it's learning essential business skills. So we cover things like business planning, cash flow forecasting, things like that, putting your vision and your goals together and everything. Things that we know we should do as a business owner, but we don't do because we spend too much time actually just doing the business stuff. Yeah. So, servicing clients or whatever. So the first thing is like I say, is the support in the room. The second thing is actually learning the essential business skills. And then the third thing is actually having accountability. So again, when you're a business owner, the only person that you're accountable is to yourself.
I don't want to do that today. I'll leave it till next week.
Yeah, that's right.
I still don't want to do that. I'll leave it
that's right. Yeah, goes to the bottom of the pile, sits in the bottom of the pile, and then you sit there and you think, I should have done that side of it. And I'm sure you experienced this a great deal with tax returns from your clients and everything else, that they put everything to the bottom of the pile because they don't do it. So you have that accountability to each other, and they have accountability to me, but most importantly, they have accountability to themselves. So it's providing that side of it. So I did it initially. I started it in July with a group of 6 people. We sat down, we started working together, and the feedback that I had from them was amazing. It beyond my expectations. The thing that has really, I suppose, impressed me more than anything else is the relationships of those people. The first 6 all knew each other bar one. But the first 6 all knew each other. But the relationship in that room has built tremendously over the last sort of 4 sessions I think we've had in that group. So I thought, right, okay, this is obviously I'm onto something here in terms of what's actually really needed. Yeah. So I thought I'll put another group together, and I filled that group really, really quickly. So I started that group, and that one started in September. And we've had a couple of sessions now that they are, again, beginning to bond. And that's an interesting one because that particular group, people didn't know each other. However, one of the things, back in the days when the world ended, you know, the apocalypse happened and whatever. I was involved back up in Buckinghamshire. I was involved with like the local LEP, and I was running a couple of peer groups there. The problem was they gave me the clients, if you like, and I was just effectively facilitating it.
Yeah.
The problem was the personalities in that room didn't rub together very well. So you ended up with an issue where you might have somebody who was the loudest voice in the room, or you might have someone who was the most contentious voice in the room. So, and you saw physically on the screen, because it was all on Zoom, because the world had ended,
People
shrinking away and hiding and not speaking. So I'm very, very particular about the people who join. They have to be the right sort of personality, because what I don't want is someone who's going to be the loudest voice in the room, and I don't want someone who's going to be critical of other people, because you will see people shy away. And again, a lot of people, when they're running businesses, they have this massive imposter syndrome thing going on.
Everybody suffers from imposter
exactly.
syndrome.
Yeah,
at some time in their life they suffer from it.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you're in that environment, and you're in that sort of peer-to-peer environment, or when you go to a networking event, you walk into a networking room and you see all these people telling you how wonderful they're doing in the business, and you're sat there, the shrinking violet at the back of the room, thinking, I'm not like that right now, and why is everybody so happy? So again, it enables people to understand that they're not alone, and everybody else is in that same boat. So that side
people
of it's
are very
really important.
good at putting a front on.
Oh, they really
in
are.
front of other people.
Oh, absolutely. We're all chameleons. We're all chameleons, aren't we?
Yeah, it's. Do you know what I mean? It is hard. It's really hard running your own business, and I think this is why it's such a good thing you're doing, because it gives people focus at a reasonable price.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? They can actually plug in and get the advice and the help they need from you and from the other people, and hopefully these relationships will go on. Are you doing like a follow-up session every now and again with them?
Yeah, so what we tend to do is we've got a WhatsApp group going for each group. So I'm chipping into the WhatsApp group and just sort of checking in and see how people are doing. I also say to everybody, you've got telephone support as well if you need it. The last thing I want to happen is something happens within their business. For example, we might have a session on a Friday, and then 3 or 4 days later, something happens within their business and they think, oh my God, I can't talk about this. So I say to people, my phone is switched on. If I'm available, I'll pick it up and we can talk it through. And the reason I do that is because I want people to feel that they're not alone. And, when you work with people and you do what I do, people sometimes think that they can't speak to you in between, but to me it's really important.
There's a tendency, isn't there? People think, I'm paying this money, and then once that finishes, that's it.
Yeah,
I'm back on my own again, and I've got to. Whereas, if there's a continuous support, then that's really, really helpful.
Absolutely. I mean, and that's the thing. And part of the whole, I suppose, the core values of this thing are learn, support, and grow. And they're the 3 sort of things that I'm trying to achieve for everybody. So they do the learning, they have the education from experts. So I bring people into the room. I never profess to be the oracle. I don't know everything about everything. And what I tend to do is, when we're talking about something that's not my area of expertise, then I'll bring people in. So to give you an example, the next session for group 2 has got Gavin Harris coming in from Kerno Media. So Gav's going to be talking about sort of social media, SEO, that sort of stuff, to give people a bit of a steer on what they should be doing there.
Because that's something you tend to do yourself as well, as when you're
absolutely,
you do your accounts, you do your SEO, you do your social media, and then you're trying to either sell your product or service your clients as well. And it's just like sometimes if you don't care back on it, it can be a 24-hour job.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, absolutely.
And then you end up burnout and you can't do anything.
That's right. Well, the first group, they had Elaine Tibbetts come in, and Elaine talked about content strategy and stuff like that, which was really useful for them as well. So it's about bringing people in and helping people to do stuff. And I'm probably going to drag you in at some point to talk about some numbers or something financial or something along those sorts of lines.
Oh, gee, thanks.
Yes, right. You're welcome. You're welcome. But the whole point behind it is people understand that there are people out there as well to help them. And it's about making sure that people are able to progress their businesses and grow their businesses and see what they're doing. I mean, initially what we do is we set up for 6 months. I've got a program that I've worked out for 6 months. It's led by the people in the room. So, for example, I sit down and I say to everybody, what do you really want to know about? We get through the first 2 or 3 sessions. And one of the things that came out was people wanted to know about social media, SEO and that sort of thing. And they wanted to have an expert like that, which is why I'll bring Gavin in. So it's about being as flexible as I possibly can, bringing people in, giving people the opportunity to be open. The one thing I have said as well to everybody is I make them sign a confidentiality statement as well. So I say to people, it's Fight Club. What goes on in Fight Club stays in Fight Club. The room itself is basically these 4 walls, and it doesn't go beyond these 4 walls. If you want to have meetings with each other and discuss with each other, that's absolutely fine. But people do talk about their financial position. They do talk about their personal position as well. Yeah. And it allows them to let that barrier down, and it allows them to actually get some support from other people in the room. And we've had some amazing discussions in the groups, and people have come out of the groups and gone, wow, that was just incredible. That really has really helped.
Yeah, because your personal life impacts your business life.
Oh, it does. Absolutely.
You can't just switch it off as soon as you walk through the door. No. It impacts.
It's your driver, isn't it? People say to you, what's your main driver? Yeah. Your personal life is your driver to your business. Yeah. So your personal goals are actually aligned with your business goals. And particularly when you're in micro business world as well, it's so the two are barely separate. Yeah. You go to bed thinking about business, you wake up thinking about your business. Yeah. You wake up thinking about your cash flow, you wake up thinking about that member of staff that isn't necessarily doing what they're supposed to be doing. You wake up thinking about where your next client is going to come from and what you've got, the post you're going to put out that day. Basically, as solo business people, we're quite boring, really, because our topic of conversation lies around what's going on about business. So, yeah.
That's really good. So where can they find you?
So I'm quite active on LinkedIn. So my LinkedIn profile, if people want to look up Steve Bridson on LinkedIn, then please connect with me. That's great. I've got a Facebook page that I'm literally just in the process of launching, which is called Peer Power. And that's going to be
so when's your next one? Have you got 2 on the go at the moment, or
got 2 on the go at the moment?
And you're waiting to how many places have got left on the third one?
I'm looking to. So I've got 3 people signed up for the next one at the moment as we speak. I've got a few other people that I'm talking to. Hopefully, that will then get the next one going. I'm aiming for kind of mid-November for the next one, and then probably I'll be looking getting another one up and running. Hopefully in January, maybe February. I'm not quite sure at the moment. Yeah. But the idea is to do that, and then once the groups finish, it's the support that goes after that as well. So I'm currently sort of planning on how we can extend that support beyond the 6 months, and see how we can move it forward. Yeah. And I've got some grand plans for it, which is quite exciting. But I can't tell you about that now.
Be another podcast.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I've got some quite big ideas for it as well, because I think genuinely, what this has shown me is the absolute need for this. There's such a strong need for people who are in that position. And what seems to happen is people who are in that position feel the support isn't out there. Yes, they can go to their LEPs. Yes, they can go to their growth hubs and they can do all that. Yes, there's support from the FSB out there, and there's support from other networking organisations such as your partnerships or whatever. But it's actually that focused business support that they really, really need. Yeah. And from somebody who has run businesses, that's so important. And somebody who can empathise because they've been there, and understands their pain. Understands what it feels like to have no cash in the bank or whatever. And I think that's where my credibility comes in as well. Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for coming in today.
No problem at all.
It's been an absolute pleasure.
As usual. Yeah. Safe for you.
Yeah. So thank you guys for listening in, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.